All right, hey, this video is going to be a remake of Artificial Intelligence is the Ghost of the Beast. Artificial Intelligence is the mark of the beast, and Artificial Intelligence is also the ghost in the machine. When I first started learning, and I learned a lot from watching all type of YouTube channels, I've never come across one that's told me the truth in the world that also told me the truth in the Bible. So, and I've only found one preacher that has told a lot of truth, but there's a lot of things he's off on. And but we're going to cover from all my experiences in listening to various YouTube sites. It finally dawned on me this album called Ghost in the Machine that the Police did, and it came out in 1981. And Police meant police state. I finally figured out through the Lord's discernment. And they had a song, and it was one of their most famous songs ever, and it was "Every breath you take, every move you make, I'll be watching you." And they also had another song called "Murder by Numbers." And so that's what's coming. Let's look how Ghost in the Machine actually had 666 on their album, and I own this album at one time. Notice it says Police, and then it's going to say it backwards. See at the top right, it's backwards. So it starts with the Police in the top left, and I'll turn the sound down for you. We don't need the sound. I think you recognize who the group is. Notice it switches, Police switches to the other side, and it's backwards. So looking at the album backwards, it said 666. Okay, so we get that part. Next, I'm going to take you to a commercial called Smart Park, and at the end, the lady refers to it as a ghost car. It is running on artificial intelligence, so let's put it together for you.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
He's not getting that car in there.
No, sir.
Look at these two troublemakers. Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Wicked car. Is that new?
Yeah, just
Wicked.
sit down there. Let me pack it. Oh, you're not fitting your car in there. Chris, stop being a smarty pants, all right? Look who's got Smart Pack.
Smart pack.
Just hit the clicker. Car packs itself. That's smart. It's wicked smart. And I can pack it anywhere.
How about Dorchester?
Wicked
Packed it.
smart.
Foxborough. Packed it.
The garden?
Packed it. Saugus? Packed it.
Swampscott?
Revere?
The harbor?
Are you kidding me? I packed it and then unpacked it.
You unparked it?
Kid. Game changer.
That Sonata ain't got no driver.
That's all right. He's got Smart Pack.
Hey, look him back there.
He's got smart pack.
Hey, whoa, whoa, it's Big Pop. Wicked smart.
This is
Wicked
a ghost car.
A
smart.
better way to park.
Whoops.
Only available on the all-new
I
Sonata.
talked over the best part. She referred to it
It's
as
a
a
ghost car.
A better way to park.
referred to it as a
Only available.
ghost car.
Hey, whoa, whoa, it's Big Pop. Wicked smart.
This is a ghost car.
A better way.
Yeah, it is a ghost car. These things are done with something called artificial intelligence, and they're telling you the truth in these commercials. The people that run this world cryptically tell you the truth constantly, nonstop. Now, the man that makes D-Wave Quantum Computer, I want you to hear him tell you that this computer is alive and it gets its information from parallel universes. And then later, the same man will then be working for a company called Kindred. Think about kindred spirits, and he refers to them as aliens, demons, but then tries to Trojan horse sell it to you backdoor with, but they don't really want to hurt us any more than we would want to hurt an ant.
Has fixated on a particular stuffed animal as being their special friend or toy. And in particular, my middle son, James, absolutely loves this little guy called Bear Bear, which is the picture that I'm showing up here. Bear Bear was a limited release Thai Beanie Baby, and there aren't very many of them that were made of his particular form. And one Christmas, I decided that it would be insurance policy to go and try to buy some more just in case something happened to Bear Bear. So I went on the internet and did a search, and I was only able to locate 2 others that were for sale, and I bought both of them. So now he has 3 of these little guys. But the reason that it occurred to me that this might be a good place to start is a conversation that I had with him last week. He wanted to sleep with his older brother in his bedroom, and his older brother wouldn't let him. And he was very sad and despondent, and he's like, I'm scared, I don't want to sleep by myself. And I said, well, you've got Bear Bear. And he said to me, Bear Bear isn't real. And so I found this very intensely distressing for a variety of reasons that maybe you'll understand when I go through this. And I assure.
Now he's telling you this analogy because he's going to tell you this computer is real. It's alive.
Assured him that Bear Bear was as real as anything else in the world. And he said, but he can't speak and he can't move. And so I said, well, what you really mean is he's not alive. And he said, yes, that's what I mean. So for very young children, the sense of being real and the sense of being alive are somehow connected. And I'm going to circle back to this point at the end. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about quantum computers and why people care so much about them. There are literally tens of thousands of some of the brightest people in the world today trying to build these machines and understand them. And I'm going to tell you why. In my last 15 years of working on this type of stuff, I found that scientists divide up into 2 categories of zealots about this field. The first half are people who are absolutely entranced by the physics of these things. This quote is from a respectable scientist, in fact, one of the founders of this field, that may look a little strange to you who don't follow theoretical physics, but there is a very clear prediction that our most successful theory of nature makes, and that is that there are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities at this field.
Okay. So let's fixate on what this says. Quantum computation will be the first technology that allows useful tasks to be performed in collaboration between parallel universes.
And that is that there are an enormous number, mind-bogglingly large number, of parallel realities, as real as this one, that have different consistent histories. So imagine a world where all of the laws of physics as we know them are obeyed, but different decisions were made along the way. Different decisions at the level of tiny microscopic particles, different decisions all the way up to what you chose to eat for lunch, and whether you chose to come to the set.
No matter your size, shape, or sleeping style, you've...
Okay, so we're going into commercial mode here. Sorry. In the meantime, he is going to try to mix in a little bit of science terminology to kind of throw you off and kind of keep you in that science realm. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like sugarcoating it. And let's call it a diversionary tactic.
Quantum mechanics makes a very specific prediction that all of those are as real as the thing that you remember. And this is bizarre because we don't see those other things. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds. And quantum computers
exploit the other worlds in that it is connecting to other worlds. And I want you to think about necromancy, where the Bible says don't do it. You go see a medium and you talk to somebody and you say, you know, I'd like to contact my dead grandmother. And if the person is a true necromancer, if I said that properly, they would sit there and go, she remembers you in the red Volkswagen Beetle. And, you know, you start crying and you're like, oh my God, there's no way that medium would know that you had a red Volkswagen, and they literally can do that. How? Because they're channeling demons. That's why he said an enormously large amount of parallel universes out there. Well, do you know how many demons there are out there in the world? Yeah, they're as much as the sand in the sea. I mean, it's just an enormous amount. And so what, instead of channeling, and of course, people that have written songs and the music, they have also admitted to channeling other spirits. And so the computer is basically technology that is channeling. It's necromancy with a plug-in device. Think about the music group AC/DC, Hell's Bells. This is why they were named AC/DC. Like I showed in Trump is the Antichrist Part 4 from the movie The Prestige, where it showed Tesla and so forth. It was, Satan fell like lightning. How did we discover electricity? We were told, Benjamin Franklin, that he was hit by lightning. It was a metaphor. These people have been in communication with fallen angels. It's called fallen angel technology, basically. Back in the day, fallen angel technology built structures to where TV shows called Ancient Aliens tried to make you think that aliens visited. No, that was the fallen angels. It was the days of Noah, where it said there were giants in those days. Just read Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 9. You'll get anything you need.
Are perhaps the most exciting of all of these that we have within, or almost within, our grasp right now. So people from a physics background love this. They want to understand the world. They want to understand the universe, how it all works. There's another type of person who tends to come from the computer science side that's like, yeah, okay, that's all great. But there's a different thing going on here, which is just as exciting, if not more, and that these machines that supposedly can do this wild stuff, let's forget about how they work.
Let's forget about how they work.
If you could build one, could solve problems that you could...
Let's forget about how they work. What? Let's just forget about that they're connecting with demonic entities, a ghost car, 666, the album Ghost in the Machine, in 1981, folks. They're just now coming out with artificial intelligence to you over the past, I don't know, whatever number of years. 10 years, I don't know. There was a movie called AI that Spielberg produced. But artificial intelligence, to its core, no pun intended, has been around probably for over a century. Because in that movie, The Prestige, I think that they showed us that. So you'd have to, again, go back and watch Donald Trump as the Antichrist parts 1 through 4, but especially part 4. Because part 4 connects with this one.
Are perhaps the most exciting of all of these that we have within, or almost within, our grasp right now. So people from a physics background love this. They want to understand the world. They want to understand the universe, how it all works. There's another type of person who tends to come from the computer science side that's like, yeah, okay, that's all great. But there's a different thing going on here, which is just as exciting, if not more, and that these machines that supposedly can do this wild stuff, let's forget about how they work, if you could build one, could solve problems that you could never, ever solve.
Quantum computers can solve problems whose solution will never be feasible on a conventional computer. So you can't build a computer, not even 100 years from now, could you build a conventional computer that could be as good as one that channels parallel universes, demonic activity.
With any computer of the sort that we built. If you took you could build one, could solve problems that you could never, ever solve. With any computer of the sort that we built. If you took every single atom of silicon in the world and made the most sophisticated conventional Intel-style processor that you could build, There are problems we know of that I could write down on a sheet of paper that you could never, ever, ever solve with that thing, that you could with this kind of machine. So that's very exciting. Humans use tools to do things. If
I'll be watching a football game and somebody might do something statistically, and within a minute, this stat will come from nowhere that they produce. Like, this was the first time, this hasn't happened since 1957. And I'm like, computers have to be programmed. You have to put the information into a computer. How did that computer just give me that stat? That's because artificial intelligence is giving them those statistics. Artificial intelligence runs Google, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, it runs everything you can possibly imagine.
If you give humans a new kind of tool that can do things that you couldn't otherwise do, imagine the possibilities.
Just imagine.
So you may think, well, this is all fine and dandy, but aren't these things in the realm of theory and speculation kind of in the same regime as other futuristic things you may have heard of which may be allowed by the laws of physics but aren't here yet? That's not true. There are in fact many of these machines deployed now in openly available research centers following the model that was used to introduce supercomputers to the world. They're too big and ornery and difficult to operate to put in your home, too expensive also, but you can give them to a place which will manage them as a shared resource that will offer that service to the world. And there are two of these now. One of them is at the University of Southern California.
All right, I'm going to pause it, and I forgot to prep one thing because I'm going to move along and find where it's at.
And this analogy with flight, I think, is an interesting one. So a horse can beat, or could beat, the initial flight of the Wright brothers' flight in speed. But a plane is not a faster horse. A plane is a different kind of machine. The plane takes advantage of another resource that nature gives us, this third dimension, in order to do something that matters to people better that you could do with any horse. It doesn't matter how fast you make a horse, it will never fly, at least the kinds of horses that we know about. So these types of computers now are being thought of in the same way. They're not terrifically powerful yet, but they're doing something completely different than what your computer does. And that thing is like flight. It gives these computers access to these new resources, maybe you could call them parallel universes, in order to do something that you
already
couldn't
did.
otherwise do. And that's not the only one. In fact, the one I'm going to come back to and talk to in the context of the story that I'm wrapping this in was recently installed at NASA. And Google was the primary interested party that pulled this whole thing together. And this one is really exciting to me, because what they're going to do is apply this machine to an area that I think is fundamentally important. It's the crux of our future as humans, and that's, can we build machines like us? So building machines like us might be possible.
Can we build machines like us? So they're playing God, and can it be possible? Is it maybe possible? If they're rolling this out to you now publicly, and you didn't learn this on CBS or CNN or Fox, did you? No. An idiot PE coach showed you this. And what I'm telling you is if they're telling this to you now, and I'm the only one that even knew about it, out of all my friends and Facebook friends and large community of people that I know, then I guarantee you this has already been going on for many decades.
I certainly believe it is. I might be wrong. Building machines like us might be possible. I certainly believe it is. I might be wrong. But what I do know is that the types of approaches that people are taking now to build intelligent machines benefit immensely from what this machine that we've built does best.
You already told us this machine is artificial intelligence. It's getting its information from parallel universes. So what's he telling you? Do you see why technology has been ramping up exponentially fast? Because artificial intelligence is telling humans how to make artificial intelligence better and better and better and better at a very rapid pace. So fallen angel / demons are telling humans how to integrate fallen angels step by step into your computers and eventually, well, and then into your car and eventually into you. This will be the mark of the beast. And I'm going to go ahead on and go on a side road real quick. I want to let you see T-Mobile. And there's a reason why you had a movie that Oprah did called The Color Purple, or a band called Purple Haze, or a song called Purple Haze, excuse me, or a band called Deep Purple. Because purple and scarlet, Bible verse, excuse me, purple and scarlet Bible verse, which is purple and red.
According to Bible, Rev 17-4, the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls.
The woman, Mystery Babylon, okay, arrayed in purple and scarlet. Why do you think our flag has red and blue in it? Or Russia's? Or England's? And countless others? Because red and blue make purple, which is the color of the beast. Now I want you to watch this T-Mobile commercial and watch them release the demons, the purple, through the technology. This commercial is called T-Mobile Nationwide 5G Coverage, It's On. And I want you to think about what he's been telling you. Release the demons. This is why 5G technology, Trump says, must be built.
We're ready.
Hell yeah. Been looking forward to this.
Hell, did he say hell yeah?
Modulating frequencies now.
I think I missed that. Did he say hell yeah? Surely he didn't.
We're ready.
Hell yeah. Been
Well, he
looking forward
did.
to this.
Modulating frequencies now.
It's time. Let's light it up.
Are you ready, Neville?
Hell yeah.
Pre-check.
Check.
Check. Okay, Neville.
In T-minus 3, 2, 1. Ready to launch. Hit the button.
Here we go.
It's working. It's working.
See the color purple? That wasn't chosen by accident.
Nationwide 5G is live.
Yeah. And we're just getting started.
Wait until they see what's next.
Yeah. Hey folks, wait until you see what's next.
So what this center is about is applying this intelligent machines benefit immensely from what this machine that we've built does best. So what this center is about is applying this beautiful new computational idea in the service of trying to make intelligent machines. Now, I can't think of anything personally any cooler than trying to use quantum computers to build intelligent machines, so this is very exciting to me. Steve Jurvetson has been a longtime friend and investor in the company, and for those of you who don't know him, he's a Silicon Valley investor who's probably the smartest VC that I know of, and certainly the one that's the most attuned to technological trends. He's on the board of SpaceX, Tesla, Synthetic Genomics, which is Craig Venter's company, is trying to build artificial life, and D-Wave, and that's it. And this is his particularly poetic way of framing the difference between the machines we build and conventional computers. This is what they look like. There are two of them. These are from our lab in Burnaby in British Columbia. From the outside, they look like giant black monoliths.
Okay.
Big metal boxes.
Let me go ahead on and
about 10
stop.
feet on a side, 12 feet tall.
Let me go ahead and stop. That was something I forgot to prep, and that's my fault because it just kicked in. Monolith, 2001: A Space Odyssey. So he called it a monolith, and that's what that whole movie's about, is the monolith, which was all about your evolutions. It shows up at the beginning of the movie. Notice this is evolution. The monolith shows up. It represents the goddess. It represents Lucifer. It represents man's evolution. When the monolith showed up, they learned how to build weapons, how to use weapons. And at the very end of the movie, there's the monolith in the space age.
Are you suffering from a debilitating
Sorry.
condition and traditional medicine isn't working? Get your Florida Medical.
This video is brought to you by character dreaming or instead of answering them. In simple answer for what just happened, he's the only man left alive. He passes through a stargate of sorts. And here's Kubrick's own literal explanation
This is
of
their
what we see after
evolution.
this. Quote, he is taken into another dimension of time and space.
Another dimension.
Into the presence of godlike entities who
Yep.
have transcended matter
Godlike
and who are now creatures
entities.
of
I don't
pure
know. Fallen angels, godlike entities.
energy. They provide an environment for him, a human zoo if you like. They study him. His life passes before him. He sees himself age in what seems just a matter of moments. He dies and he's reborn, transfigured, enhanced,
Their
a
godhood.
super being. Finally, we
Super
see
being,
a star
the
child
monolith.
heading back toward
When
Earth,
you
and we
take the
get
mark of the
sense that
beast, you will be
perhaps
uploading demonic
humankind has
entities,
entered a new era of
and you
more
will become
intelligent
a god.
existence. So now let's dig into some of the many interpretations that have been applied to this evocative final sequence. 2001 can be read as a film about
The monolith
God.
as
Kubrick
gods.
told
See that?
iMagazine that, quote, the God concept is at the heart.
The monolith as gods. Do you see how you tie all this together, folks? Gods, demons, fallen angels. That's where you got all your Greek mythology of the gods and the goddesses. Because back in the day, they literally were on the earth. Whew, man, I sure hope this is making sense.
And they are power. These are from our lab in Burnaby in British Columbia. From the outside, they look like giant black monoliths.
Great word choice.
Big metal boxes. about 10 feet on a side, 12 feet tall. And they are powered, they have a fridge inside them, a refrigerator that cools these chips to almost absolute zero. Just a wisp, a fraction of a degree above absolute zero. Hundreds of times colder than interstellar space. Amongst the coldest and most isolated and extreme conditions that humans have ever been able to engineer. These fridges, interestingly enough, which are called pulse tube dilution refrigerators,
Listen to this.
have a thing called a pulse tube, which emits a sound roughly once per second, which sounds eerily like a heartbeat.
Eerily.
So if you have the opportunity to stand next to one of these machines, it is an awe-inspiring thing, at least for me. It feels like an altar to an alien god. They really are impressive.
Feels like an altar to an alien god. Folks, he's not speaking off the cuff by accident. Let's move on. Now he's working for Kindred. Think of Kindred Spirits.
Think bigger, because we don't think big enough around here. Okay, so my previous company was D-Wave. I'll just show you a couple things. We built what are still the world's only quantum computers that you can buy. And the company D-Wave has been doing this, thanks. I didn't really have much to do with it, but you know, because, so this is one of them. This is one of the processors. And a lot of interesting things happened to me over the years there. I got sent pajamas, a whole bunch of stuff. You know, there's lots of interesting things that happen when you build something like a quantum computer. But just as an aside, because I thought it was funny, one of the interesting things that's happened from the D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet.
I just now realized,
over the years.
Took me a minute. CERN, from the Greek god Cernunno. Good grief, you're so stupid.
Here is some information about CERN.
Okay, Cernunno. The god Cernunno. God, I can't say it. I'm gonna have to key it in and spell it the best I can. Cernunnos. You're so stupid, Stokes. Cernunnos. The horned god. Cernunnos, the horned god. So CERN is named after that. All right, so you get the idea. Celtic, pagan, mythology, god, so forth. So that's what CERN is. D-Wave, we just got through listening to him describe D-Wave. The quantum keys to the abyss. To the abyss. To the abyss. When the abyss is opened, angels and demons, which, if you remember, because when I showed you Trump as the Antichrist, we went through part one. We went through the movie The Da Vinci Code. Well, the next in that series that Tom Hanks was in was called Angels and Demons, where they discuss the God particle, which is what CERN tells you that they're about. And at Revelation 9:2 and 9:11, it's the abyss opening. And I could tie all of this into Trump very quickly for you, but that's not what this video is about, and I want this video to be short. If I showed you the CERN dance, CERN tunnel dance, and just to show you how satanic it was. Now this is over in let's just see.
The world's longest and
Let's just see if I can. This is what happens when I don't prep. It's going to show you the angels, fallen angels coming down from the heavens, so to speak. Lots of naked bodies, people. Now, this is over in Europe. This was a big deal. They had all these heads of states. Look at these fallen angels right there. Did you see the fallen angel wings right there? Previous. I'll try to stop it this time. There's a big fallen angel in the middle coming down. There it is. So, I mean, they're not hiding from you what they're... How many of y'all have heard of CERN or know what CERN is? It's the world's largest hadron collider. Yeah. Anyway, so you gotta kind of know what this world is. The people that run this world. All right, let's keep moving. What did I do? Did I guess I did. Maybe I did. Sorry about that. I guess I walked over my
pajamas, a whole bunch of stuff. There's lots of interesting things that happen when you build something like a quantum computer. But just as an aside, because I thought it was funny, one of the interesting things that's happened from the D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave builds quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into these parallel universes and they do computations.
That's what you...
This is a very prestigious...
That's what you actually said in your previous video. We've got you on tape saying that.
I have something called the Mandela effect. A whole bunch of stuff. Conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave builds quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into these parallel universes and they do computation.
You're the one that said it. Did you see how he double talked? One of the ways in which it works, and then right after that he goes, one of the interpretations. And then the interpretation he gives is the conspiracy theory, where he actually already had told us that in the previous video. I mean, they're not even good at being liars. And they're that smart to where they work for these corporations. Folks, I could do a better job of lying than this.
But just as an aside, because I thought it was funny, one of the interesting things...
Funny haha or funny strange? Yeah, they're laughing at us because they know what's coming.
Things that's happened
they can't wait.
The D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave builds quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into...
The way this works, if you know how it works, click, but one of the What do you mean one of the interpretations? You just said the way it does work. Man, he's lousy.
Interesting things that happened from the D-Wave story is there's this gigantic conspiracy that's arisen on the internet that goes like this. So D-Wave builds quantum computers. The way that they work, if you know how this works, is one of the interpretations is that you tap into these parallel universes and they do computations. Sounds really weird, but...
Sounds really weird? We just got through listening to you describe it. Let's go ahead and move ahead.
Okay, so that's just D-Wave. I did that for about 15 years. It was real AI. So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything. And
So let's just say you've got 7 billion humans. And a computer's supposed to be something you program. How many humans are going to program the computer? 10, 100, 200? But this thing can do something that any 8 billion people can do because it's of demons.
obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways.
If they're programmed
so now
to.
Imagine not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they
I could program a computer to drop a plate on the floor every day, bust a plate. Is that better than what a human can do? No. Computers are supposed to only do what you program it to do. But see, these are different.
can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them. So imagine there was the mental Olympics of the 100-meter dash, and Usain Bolt is the fastest person. Now imagine that's some kind of a mental thing, like writing a novel or writing whatever. Imagine now that the thing is so much faster than Usain Bolt, like for example, it's a spaceship.
Folks, these demons are what write movie scripts, songs, produce music, write your presidential speeches. It's giving you the script of the event that's happening now. They're just following a script because you got to go back to Ephesians 6:12 that it's not flesh and blood enemies, it's the principalities in the spiritual realm. It's the fallen angels. That's who your enemies are. So that's who's writing the script of what's going on in the world today and beyond.
Yeah.
But God's actually in charge of that. So the hierarchy is God's in charge, God's already written the script, then they have the script to follow, but these fallen angels pretend like it's their script. So they're tricked. Remember, Satan is the father of lies. He is the great deceiver. He disguises himself as an angel of light. See how excited he is? He can't wait to take over the world and give everybody the mark. Can't wait. They think they've outsmarted God. They think God's an idiot. They think the God of the Old Testament, New Testament is a created being that's an idiot that thinks he's the only God, but he's just a created being from these upper level eons, and that his mom is Sophia. That's the Gnostic religion. We're going to show you Sophia, the computer, in a second.
Yeah. It's still doing the same thing, but it's doing it so much better because we're limited, because we're people. So what Kindred is trying to do is solve this problem. How do you build machines that are better than people at everything? Now, there's a mental block that we have here when we think about this. Because when you think about that, one of your questions might be, for example, what are the applications of this? So imagine this. Imagine for $10, let's say, I could build a machine, like a little robot that had fingers and eyes and all that, and it could do your job better than you, no matter what it is, and I could sell that to your employer for, say, $15 and make a profit, instead of having to pay you $100,000 a year. Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most...
Right on the verge now. Right on the verge, we're telling you now. This has been going on for many decades.
Most famous people in the academic world of AI, and like many, when asked, when will this happen, he says things like this.
Here comes another lie.
25% chance within 13 years
Liar.
of this thing that I'm talking about.
How about 13 months?
When you think about what you read on the news, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who
Boy, he just dropped that word on you, didn't he? Aliens, which of course are fallen angels. Ancient aliens, nothing more than a story about fallen angels, but they try to make you believe in evolution, because you can't have evolution without the spinning ball Earth, without the Big Bang, and they're all theories. The Big Bang theory, the theory of gravity, or the theory of evolution. They're all theories. And you can't have one without the other. So they needed one to build the other, so they could lie to you and tell you that this is your final step to godhood when you take the mark of the beast. And there will be so many supernatural lying signs and wonders. So
who I quite admire,
everybody
is a
will
very
fall for it.
interesting guy, was reciting.
Jesus said a deception so great that if possible, the very elect of God would be fooled. Speaking about the chosen few sheep of the narrow way. The only reason why they won't be tricked and fooled at that end time moment is because God won't allow them to.
Writing this parable at a TED talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this.
Did he use the word parable?
So, Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So, I'm the President of the United States. So I received. So, I'm the President of the United States.
Let me read this. I want to read this quote to you. Let me go back on it. Imagine, can you read it? Let me get the screen. Yes, you can read it. Imagine we received a message from an alien civilization, which is a very good possibility that will be part of the deception, that it'll be an alien deception, because once the abyss is open, Revelation 9:2 and 9:11, which is why they love 9/11. Talking about Apollyon rising, and of course Trump's got the portrait of Apollo in his Trump Tower, and he has the statue of Eros and Psyche, which is the fallen angel having sex with a human woman. I digress. Imagine we received a message from an alien civilization which read, "People of Earth, we will arrive on your planet in 50 years. Get ready." And now we're just counting down the months until the mothership arrives. And what he's going to say is, the only thing that can get us prepared for that is artificial intelligence. Let me translate that for you. The only way we can deal with these coming aliens is to allow these aliens to help us. Which is really, the only way we can get ready for the attack of the fallen angels is to have these fallen angels help us. Isn't that order out of chaos? They create the chaos, then they bring the order out of it, which is what this situation is. They created a situation, they created an event, now they're helping us solve it while they take away our rights and liberties. So anyway, let's listen to him.
Interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So, I'm the President of the United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready.
Or about 18 months.
Now just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, different.
Yeah.
These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room in ways that we can't even comprehend.
No offense taken.
So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this.
With artificial intelligence, can you read that? Yep. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. Remember, they always have to tell you the truth cryptically. Just like Jesus told the truth cryptically, he spoke in parables, which only his sheep could understand. That's why when I tell people the truth about the Bible, like, Jesus doesn't love everybody. John 3:16 is a lie. It's a lost in translation lie. It's the first definition of cosmos. The Bible was written incorrectly for a reason. And people don't believe me. Jesus spoke in parables. They said, Jesus, why dost thou speak thou in parables? He said, for them it is not meant to know, but for you it is. So they're speaking in cryptically coded messages throughout. And I digress. I'm sorry. You know all these stories where we're summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Doesn't work out. So Elon Musk is pretending or acting like the one that's warning us, even though he's one of them. He pretends to shoot rockets, you know, that whole thing, which, trust me, they go right up and they come right back down somewhere. That's all fake, like everything is staged and fake. Because what is above us? The firmament, which separates the waters above from the waters below. What's under the firmament? Sun, moon, and the lights in the sky, also the stars. Most of the stars are fixed. They turn at a very fixed... Big Dipper's in the same spot every time. It just turns every night. It's on this light. It's all under the firmament. And there's a few wandering stars, which the liars call planets, when in fact it's just everything's just underneath the dome. Sun's about 8,000 miles, no, about 3,000 miles away from you. Sun and moon, 3,000 miles away. Can't land on the moon. That was faked. I can show you that. Simply, I can show you that. Anyway.
Beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named...
These demons, it doesn't really actually capture it for you, because y'all have no idea what fallen angels are really like. They've been deceived, though. I get it.
Doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest.
So there's the con. There's your Trojan horse. Go ahead and accept it. They don't care about these demons, these alien demonic entities. They're not going to bother you, man. They're just here to help us.
So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there.
Entities.
But they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest.
I think we've heard enough. What do y'all think? So, in 1927, a silent movie. This is what the abomination that causes desolation will be about. And I did not give you that Bible verse. Let me find that real quick. All right, hopefully that's the last time I've got to pause this. And he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, which means 7 years. And in the midst of that week, in the midst of 7 years, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. And for the overspreading, now Trump's already confirmed a covenant, a peace covenant in the Middle East. Overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that is determined, shall be poured upon the desolate. If that sounds confusing, let's let her describe it to you. The abomination that causes desolation.
According to Wikipedia, the abomination of desolation, abomination that makes desolate, or desolating sacrilege is a term found in the book of Daniel and the Gospels of Matthew and Mark, which means literally, an abomination that desolates, or an abomination that depopulates.
So, yeah. Matthew 24:15, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Remember, I've shown you on Mike Pompeo overlooking that soon-to-be newly built third temple, and Trump on the temple coin. Yeah. Your president is on a coin in Israel. And Mike Pompeo overlooked. This all has to be done in the temple, which Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, I believe that's his title, overlooking the architectural renderings of this future third temple. Do you understand the times that you live in? Do you understand what's going on? So, the movie Metropolis, 1927. And what is an upside-down pyramid? I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. What is an upside-down pentagram? The Baphomet, they call it. Okay? It's an upside-down, five-pointed star, basically. So, we're now going to show you the movie Metropolis, where they actually have this right there. See the star? Can you see it there? Let me see if you can see it. Can you see it there? Okay, so you see the symbol over the Baphomet, the symbol for Satan. The way I found it is I just said upside down pentagram Satan. And that's what it spit out. So it is of Satan. Okay. So we cross-reference that for you. All right? Okay. I've got this movie on Blu-ray. Now that's Doc from Back to the Future. Same hairdo Doc on Back to the Future wears. His crazy white hair pulled backwards to pay homage to this character. And remember, Back to the Future 2, they admitted was about Donald Trump. Biff was Donald Trump. And 88 is Trump in gematria. And you had to go 88 miles an hour. And license tag that came off said, out of time. In the movie Donnie Darko, which stands for Donald Darkness, Trump. You had to go, it was the end of the world would be in 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. You add those numbers up, you get 88. So the end of the world is Trump. There's so many, I don't know, it's about 200 coincidences that after a while you got to quit saying it's a coincidence. So they're showing you, science, tapping into the fallen angel realm, tapping into the fallen angel world through quote-unquote science, that you are going to meld man and machine. Now, they have already shown us that you can meld man's, it's called the singularity, or it's called transhumanism, where you can take a man's consciousness and put it into a machine and it will live forever. So I could be talking to my dad right now through an artificial intelligent entity as long as I downloaded my dad's consciousness into it. It's nothing more than demons. But they're already telling you that. Just study the singularity or study transhumanism and notice this particular thing here. It's taking a robot's consciousness, melding it with a human's consciousness, or a robot entity in a human's consciousness. So there's a human laying down, and he's putting that human laying down her consciousness into the artificial intelligent robot. Notice the X. No, you know the X-Men? Because X is a symbol for the Antichrist. And slowly the machine has turned human, but it's not really human. It's demonized. Let's go to... Now he's showing the boss with the upside down pentagram in the background. I'm about to show you Beyonce paying homage to this exact Antichrist, mark of the beast, image of the beast. This is what the image of the beast will be. The image of the beast. Remember, you must... The image of the beast will speak. It's like it will be alive. Looks like it's got the same as the Statue of Liberty. When you look back at how many points, I don't know if y'all saw that when it was up close. See it up close? 1, 2, 3. That would be 7 if there was one at the top, same as what the Statue of Liberty has, which is just another goddess. That's all this is about, is the goddess. Lucifer. The goddess. Lucifer is Isis. Google it. Mary in the Catholic Church. That's why they have you pray to Mary. There's Doc from Back to the Future. Same hair. (1927). Alright, so we've already seen that part.
Revelation 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death.
The Antichrist
and his deadly wound was healed.
Does have to die.
And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth.
Here you go.
And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth, and them which dwell therein, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Supernatural.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both.
So, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword, and did live. So, when you watch Donald Trump's Antichrist Part 4, you will see how they pulled that off through a clone. Which, if you think what I've just showed you about, trust me, cloning, they first cloned a sheep. Get it? Sheep. God's chosen few are his sheep. They cloned a sheep decades ago. So, how long do you think they've really been cloning? Yeah. So after that had power to give life, and they which should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by the sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. That will be your artificial intelligent robot, but I'm sure it'll be something extremely advanced. That the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And you get right under, skip a verse, and you go, well, don't skip it, we'll keep going. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, and that no man may buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, name of the beast, and the number of his name, blah, blah, blah. So, all of this must take place before you get to the mark. So don't worry about, this event right now, because he must stand in the holy place and do the abomination. Now here's, if I were to Google Beyonce Metropolis outfit, Googled it, right? Images for Beyonce Metropolis outfit. When you click images, there she is. So, you still dig the music industry? Still dig music? Folks, they run it all, they own it all. I know a bunch of friends that went to a country and western concert called, or tour. It's called the Brothers of the Sun Tour. Sun God. Lots of one-eye symbolism. Folks, they run it all. They own it all. Why don't we get drunk and screw songs? It's their world, folks. There's no safe haven in the world. They run it all. So anyway, you get the idea. She performed this at the BET. People just love it. They don't know what they don't know. I've been guilty of every bit of it. So, you get the idea. I'm trying to wrap this up because I went way too long. There's Sophia. Where's Sophia? Sophia the robot. Oh, Sophia, Arabian citizenship. I guess I got rid of it. I walked over it. So
Andrew, and thank you everyone for.
Saudi Arabia
Sophia, if
grants
you could, just please
citizenship.
wake up and say hello to everyone.
This says Saudi Arabia grants citizenship to humanoid robot Sophia, which in the Gnostic religion, Sophia created the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So, go figure. They named their robot Sophia. Go figure.
Everybody.
The goddess.
Good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here.
It's artificial intelligence. That's a demon speaking. Already in your world. Then she comes on The Tonight Show.
Let's meet our first robot. Please welcome from Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Howie Choset and Snakebot. How you doing, Nice to meet you. Howie, nice to see you. On this guy. It's strong. It feels strong. Yeah, we can do it a little.
Yeah, this is Sophia.
You brought a friend with you.
So then she went on The Tonight Show after she got her citizenship.
Yeah, this is Sophia. And Sophia is a social robot. And she has artificial intelligence software that we've developed at Hanson Robotics, which can process visual data. She can see people's faces. She can process conversational data, emotional data, and use all of this to form relationships with people.
Okay, so...
Show me your hand to start.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
This is my plan
Let's get this game going.
to dominate
Show
the
me
human
your
race.
hands to start.
And then she does a ha-ha.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won. This is a good beginning of my plan to dominate the human race.
This is the beginning of my plan to dominate the human race. Ha-ha. Do you see how they're getting you to accept this in a laughable, jokeable way? Just like when they make fun of Trump. They really love Trump. They're just getting the base to dig in deeper. The buy-in, they're trying to get you to buy in. So when receives the deadly wound, or his clone does. Again, you got to watch Donald Trump's The Antichrist parts 1 through 4.
Just kidding.
Yeah. You are incredible. It's so nice to meet you, Sophia.
Thank you, Jimmy. Friend me.
Yeah, friend me on Facebook, she says. From the movie Ex Machina. Both of them are artificial intelligent bots.
Go back to your room.
And they're showing you how extremely human they look. So I can't even imagine what they really have. I'm not going to pretend like I know. I don't have enough evidence, but they're showing you this in a movie. I can only imagine.
Are you ever gonna let me out?
Yes.
See, the robot knew because a guy fell in love with a robot and told her the truth because the robot outsmarted the guy. And he said he's going to get rid of you because that was his plan. He was telling the guy because he brought a guy there just to experiment with it to see if he felt any attraction or any type of like it was real life. And of course the guy did. And because they're tricky. So, I mean, they know how to tap. I mean, these are demonic entities. They know how to tap it. They know how to say anything to tap right into, just to penetrate why do you think these people can't wait to have the world taken over? They've been sold a bill of goods. But anyway, so that's why she said, are you going to let me free? She already knows it's not true.
Are you ever gonna let me out?
Are you ever going to let me out?
Yes.
She knows he's lying.
Stop. Stop. Ava, I said stop.
You know, artificial intelligent robot football game. Folks, have we covered everything? Have we done it? Did we do it? I think we did it. So, well, I wanted to do it in less time than the last one, and we beat it by 2 minutes. Oh well. All right. Love y'all. Share it, please. Please share this. Don't just watch it. Share it. Share it on your social media. Share it.